2024 Acura MDX has long been a hit for Acura, and as a matter of fact, it's also long been the best-selling luxury three-row SUV. But it's also never had a real challenge mounted by its nemesis Lexus, since the short-lived and ill-fated RXL was too small to truly compete. However, that is changing right now, with the introduction of the all-new 2024 Lexus-TX nameplate. This new luxury SUV is promising to take down the likes of MDX by prioritizing space over all else. So, was it successful? Well, let's go ahead and find out who wins in the 2024 Acura MDX versus 2024 Lexus TX battle. Pricing and equipment. Now, like always, let's quickly establish the pricing and trim levels right from the start. Beginning with the established MDX, we have the MDX Advance, which is the top trim level outside of the performance-oriented Type S models. Pricing has steadily risen over the last few years, to a total of $65,500. Acura MDX Advance AWD, $64,400 options, plus $640 destination, $1,195 total, $65,595. Moving to the new TX, the equivalent model, and what will be the best seller, is the TX 350. We selected the luxury trim for equal features to the Advance MDX, and after a few options, its total price is a couple $1,000s richer. Lexus TX 350 Luxury AWD, $62,550 options, plus $339 destination, $1,350 total, $67,239. By the way, if you want to get the best price from local dealerships and access to invoice pricing info for these two models or any vehicle, we have a tool on our website to do just that. Check the link in the description for more info. Now, as far as this comparison, it will be conducted in an objective way. We have done our best to weigh the points awarded throughout in major and minor categories, but at the end of the comparison we will sum up with our thoughts and revisit the price difference for a value assessment. With that being said, let's get into this comparison. Exterior design. Starting here with the exteriors, both models represent their respective brands' signature designs, but with a little twist in the case of the TX. It has the famous spindle grille like every Lexus, but it is now a unified spindle, meaning it is entirely body color. The MDX's diamond pentagon grille remains, as do the Jewel-eye LED headlights. The TX deviates again by not having the signature triple beam LED headlights, but regardless, all parts of its headlight cluster are LED just like the MDX, and both of them have LED fog lights. Moving to the side, the new TX is going to have about a 5-inch advantage on length, and you'll want to stick around until later when we compare all the interior measurements as well. Length, 203.2 inches, TX, 198.4 inches, MDX. The TX has a floating roof effect as we move around to the back, and as far as the rear, both have small upper spoilers, exposed wipers, and fully LED tail lamp clusters. The MDX has exposed exhaust outlets. Towing, Max MDX, 5,000 pounds, TX, 5,000 pounds. Additional features. Now checking out some of the individual features, both of their mirrors are fully loaded with heating, blind spot monitoring, power folding, and auto dimming. Both their warranties are the same as well, including the complimentary maintenance. MDX warranties: basic warranty 4-year/50 km powertrain, 6-year/70 km complimentary maintenance, 2-year/24 km. TX warranties: basic warranty 4-year/50 km powertrain, 6-year/70 km complimentary maintenance, 2 visits. Now, one of the things both Japanese luxury brands excel at is including all active safety features as standard equipment on all trim levels. Additionally, they both have convenience features, such as traffic jam assist functions. It is worth noting though that the TX has additional hands-free functionality under 25 miles per hour, and it also has remote smart parking via your smartphone. Interior design. As we walk toward the interiors, both models have smart entry as you would expect, plus the available digital key system in the Lexus. While this doesn't really change anything in the day-to-day, be aware that the TX has electronic door handles, so the handle itself won't move when you grab it. Now let's take a second to take in the interiors, which both have their own unique feeling of luxury. The seats themselves are one of those luxurious elements since they are wrapped in semi-aniline and Milano leather in the Lexus and Acura respectively. We have an equal number, but different kinds of adjustments, and both have heating, cooling and memory. But as we get inside, this gives us an opportunity to access the major category of overall material quality. Like I said a second ago, they're not very similar in the material choices they have made, with the TX focusing on leatherette and suede in the areas you might touch. The MDX, though, not only has more visual contrast, but it also has more diversity of materials used. It has leatherette, real metal speaker grills, and generous use of real open-pore wood trim, which is something the Lexus only has in one small area. After startup, you'll see 12.3 digital gauge clusters on both, as well as head-up displays. Both steering wheels will be leather-wrapped and heated, as well as power adjusting. Storage and technology. But that takes us to the interior storage and functionality here in the front of the cabin. While the center consoles are pretty much the same sizes, it's the other areas where the TX excels against the MDX. It has removable cup holders for a multi-function bin, and it has more space in front of them with its arrangement. Now moving on to the shifters, both of them are electronic ones, with paddle shifters on the steering wheels. And, when in reverse, both also have 360-degree camera systems. I mentioned the speaker grills earlier, but, of course, there is more to a great sounding sound system than that, so let's go ahead and take a sample. Overall, both sound systems are fantastic and offer balanced, full sound that really pops. TX, 21-speaker Mark Levinson Pure Play Audio. MDX, 16-speaker ELS 3D Premium Audio. Moving on to climate, both models have 3-zone climate control systems are on board. The TXs are largely inside the screen, but both models have physical toggles or knobs for the most important adjustment, the temperature. The biggest con of using screen climate controls, though, is that they take up about a third of TX's 14-inch display, meaning that the usable area is no larger than the MDX with its 12.3-inch display. Size aside, the displays have an important difference. The TX's is a touchscreen, while the MDX is not, as you might have clued in on by how far away it is mounted. In the Acura you have to use the odd 1:1 map touchpad, which is something you can get used to, but is definitely harder to use. Features-wise, both have navigation and wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Last, but certainly not least for the front of the interiors, the Lexus has a digital camera rear-view mirror, and both have large panoramic sunroofs that open up. Rear seats and cargo. But now it's time for the back of the interiors, an equally important space for the family members and belongings you will probably be hauling around in these too. Starting with leg and headroom measures in the second row, the TX has a small advantage but not by more than the 5% threshold required to score a point. Both feel nice and spacious sitting behind a 5 feet 9 inches driving position. MDX, legroom, 38.5 inches, headroom, 38.1 inches. TX, legroom, 39.5 inch headroom, 38.5 inch. Jumping into amenities, there are rear climate controls, vents, 2 USB ports, and sunshades on both. Both their seats are also heated, but after this is where we start to see divergence. First, the MDX has a household power outlet, but the most important distinguishing difference is the MDX's multi-function seats. You have 3 seats back here. You can fold it down for a center console, or you can completely remove it for on-demand captain chairs. In comparison, the TX has the choice between either captain's chairs or bench seating, and if you wanted the available rear seat ventilation, you must choose the captain's chairs. Let's head to the next row of seats, which both have easy access sliding systems. First off, both have 2 seats back here to maximize comfort instead of 3. But once you climb back there, you will immediately notice that the extra exterior length on the TX was applied here. It has about 14% more legroom, which makes it comfortable for even adults back here, something that cannot be said about the MDX. TX, legroom, 33.5 and headroom, 37.2 inches. MDX, legroom, 29.1 in a headroom, 36.2. Lastly, both have USB ports, but vents are strangely missing from the MDX. Now let's get into the cargo areas. After the hands-free tailgates open, you will find a tremendous size discrepancy. In all three seating configurations, the TX has the advantage, and that only grows as the third and second rows are folded, ending with 30% more space in maximum configuration. MDX's space figures are competitive with other rivals, but the TX simply beats everything else out there. MDX, behind third row, 16.3 CUFT, behind second row, 39.1 CUFT max, 71.4 CU foot. TX, behind third row, 20.2 CUFT second row,